Hello lovely people, welcome back to my channel. Rux here. Here we talk all things astrology, in case you didn't notice. And I am bringing Jupiter back by popular demand with this video. So I actually uploaded on my channel a while back another Jupiter video, Jupiter based and placed in specific signs in your natal chart. Now today we are going to be talking about Jupiter placed in houses in your natal chart. Now a little bit of an introduction around Jupiter. First of all, I'm also going to link to the video that I did around Jupiter in signs in the description box down below, and it's very well worth watching for you. Let us start with Jupiter. Jupiter is the Great Benefic. Jupiter is the equivalent of Zeus and the mighty God ruler in astrology. Some might say Jupiter is the equivalent of God in astrology. Wherever we have Jupiter placed in our natal chart is an area in which we feel quite optimistic about. It is an area, a sector in our life that, let's say, gives us faith, gives us power, gives us benefits. And let's put it this way, Jupiter is considered the Great Benefic. So we are quite protected in that particular area of our lives. Now, the reason why I say area of our lives is because this time we're going to be talking about houses in astrology and where Jupiter can be placed in your chart. Now, if you don't know where this planet is placed in your chart, not in your child, well, some people might have Jupiter placed in the 5th house, and they feel like quite lucky around children, and 5th house matters, but I'm getting ahead of myself. So first, what you need to do is you need to figure out where Jupiter is in your chart. For that, you can go online. There's a ton of online natal chart generators. I'm going to link another one in the description box down below so that you can refer to it. All you need to put in is your date, time, and place of birth. And voila, you're going to see what house and what sign Jupiter is placed in. Let us commence with Jupiter in the 1st house. Now, Jupiter in the 1st house people, in general, have a sort of a larger-than-life personality. You cannot help but notice them. When they enter a room, all eyes are on them. It's a little bit like having the sun in the 1st house. So they bring a lot of energy with them. They bring a lot of almost power with them as well. They bring a lot of optimism with them in the room, and in life in general. They tend to look at life with a very optimistic lens on. That's because they tend to feel quite protected in general. If you've got Jupiter in the 1st house and you don't feel protected, then trust me, you are, even though you don't realize it. I mean, obviously natal charts are very complex things, and even though you might be quite pessimistic yourself because of other aspects in your chart and other planetary placements, you have Zeus's eyes on you and Jupiter's eyes on you, and whatever happens to you, you're going to come out the other end luckily and protected and well. Jupiter in the 1st house people can be also seen as being quite preachy. So they can have like this, some people might say patronizing and arrogant attitude towards life, but that's like the not so, the shadier side of Jupiter. In general, you can be like very positive, very optimistic. You have the qualities of a teacher, of a professor, of someone who can teach other people. You tend to look at life as a journey. You tend to take risks in life and they turn out well. That's why you're probably so optimistic. Don't assume that just because things turn out well for you, they're going to turn out well for everyone. You have this quality of seeing the bigger picture in general, and you're like a big picture person. because it's the first house, Jupiter can also, so Jupiter brings abundance. So I'd caution you not to eat too much, because you might have a tendency to put on weight quite easily. But all in all, this is like a very abundant and abundance-oriented person and personality. You can be like an explorer, a traveler, a very wise person. Don't look down on other people because they don't have like your life experience and they haven't traveled as much as you have. You are very likely going to travel a lot in this lifetime. You and Jupiter in the 9th house are going to travel a lot in this lifetime. And even though to some people you might come across as being quite foreign, you take a lot of pride in being foreign and being different and coming from a different place altogether. Now, if you've got Jupiter in your 2nd house, let me tell you this. In this lifetime, and I hope you're going to remember this, you're quite lucky when it comes to money matters. But it's not money as in money gifted to you. It's money that you have to work for still, but you do tend to attract money in general. You can also have an overinflated sense of self-worth, which is in many cases not a bad thing, because if you value yourself, what tends to happen is other people and society and the universe values you as well. In terms of the things that you value, you probably, you're likely to spend your money on education and traveling very much. Let us put it that way. Now, if you've got Jupiter in your 3rd house, this gives you excellent communication skills. You're likely going to tap into a wide variety of subjects throughout your life, but be very careful, because this is quite a, I don't want to say superficial, but it can be quite a superficial approach towards learning in general. So you're very confident in your learning capacities, and that means you're not going to go in too deep into any topic, and you can be seen as a jack of all trades, master of none. So take my advice and do try to like deepen your understanding of specific topics, so that you're not just like superficially like tapping into all of these and constantly stimulating your curiosity, but actually, what do you know? You know what I'm saying? Jupiter in the 3rd house can also indicate a lot of siblings, and also someone who is very much at ease, who feels at ease in their community, in their neighborhood, in familiar places. Jupiter in the 3rd can also indicate having like a good experience in general when it comes to learning environments. You might have enjoyed school, you might have enjoyed learning, you might have enjoyed the learning experience. So I'd say that your sense of faith and confidence comes from the things that you know. Jupiter in the 4th house, if you've got this placement, it can usually point to you coming from a well-off family. It can also indicate you coming from a long lineage, and you can trace down the history of your family, I don't know, for like decades, centuries. If you look back, you can like trace it all the way back to your ancestors. This is a placement that usually points to a person who comes from a good family, as they call it. Jupiter in the 4th in general brings you good luck in the areas of family, of home, and of your roots and childhood and personal history. When you do form a family of your own, I have to say you're very likely going to have really positive experiences around that. And again, don't make the assumption that because things are going well for you family-wise, it means that they're going well for everyone. Family is not the most nurturing environment for all people, even though it will be for you. It can also point out to growing up in a religious environment, but religion can be seen as a positive way and as something that gives you faith and gives you optimism to move forward in life. You can live close to a church, let me tell you this. You can also live abroad for at least a period of your life. You can buy property abroad. Speaking of property, if you invest in property, things are going to turn out quite well for you if you invest in property and land. Now, if you've got Jupiter in the 5th house, Jesus Christ, you are going to have a lot of love in your life. This is a placement that indicates that can indicate a lot of children as well, but also a lot of love. This is a very creative placement as well, and you draw your faith from your creativity. You can also draw your faith from the inner child in you. And this is the placement of the gambler, of the risk taker, possibly someone who bets on horses, possibly someone who loves horses. You love risk, let's face it. You love games and you love risks, and even though you might actually gain quite a lot from them from taking them throughout your life, it doesn't mean that it will always turn out that way. So be careful, because you also have to like keep in mind that there are transits happening in the sky, and it's not always going to be like super positive, and let's say even though you are protected in this area, the universe is still quite chaotic in that sense. But you're never going to lack opportunities for gambling. You are never going to lack opportunities for playing in this lifetime, and you're probably never going to lack opportunities for being romantic and flirting and enjoying love in general. Now, if you've got Jupiter in the 6th house, that's a really nice placement because it means you're going to enjoy the work that you do, which is great because a lot of people don't. You're likely going to get along very well with your coworkers, and you're the type of person who appreciates having a schedule, appreciates having like routine in their life and doing things like by the book, and that's something that gives you faith and makes you positive, makes you feel positive about the outcome of things. You're very likely going to work in an international environment, at least for part of your life. You're very likely going to travel a lot for work throughout your life. But all in all, you're very protected when it comes to your day-to-day job and working environment, and it's just a nice environment for you to be in. Now, if you've got Jupiter in the 7th house, let me tell you this. You're very likely going to benefit from marriage and business partnerships. You're going to attract very generous partners. You might actually become a lot more well-off financially after you marry or after you find your life partner. If there's one thing in this lifetime that you're not going to lack, is opportunity for partnerships. So be careful not to ruin a perfectly good marriage and relationship just because there's always opportunities for you out there. Jupiter is the planet of abundance, and it can bring an abundance of partners. Now, Jupiter in the 8th house, this is a really cool placement because you tend to attract gifts. You tend to attract a lot of financial resources from other people. People just give things to you, and they feel like inclined to give things to you. This is a very, when it comes to abundance, this is a placement that can bring an abundance of sex and an abundance of like interest in sex and what goes on between people behind closed doors. But this is also a placement that makes you quite optimistic about the transformative potential and the benefits of going through crises, of going through like challenges in your life, even though things can go like wrong as they go for like other people, for like all people at some point in their lives. You have quite an optimistic outlook when it comes to that, and when it comes to like the challenges that life throws your way. Last but not least, this is a placement that indicates generally inheritances, like I said, financial gifts from other people. So that's all I had to say. Now, Jupiter in the 9th house is at home because the 9th house in the natural zodiac is ruled by Sagittarius, and Jupiter rules Sagittarius. You're going to have a lot of opportunities in this lifetime to travel, to study. You are what is called like the nomad, the born traveler. You also are probably quite attracted to the realms of philosophy, of religion, and of politics. You could make a fantastic politician. Last but not least, you are a great storyteller. You will have opportunities in this lifetime to learn a lot and to expand your knowledge. And like similarly with like Jupiter in the 1st house, life is a journey for you, and you absolutely enjoy the journey, and you enjoy meeting new people from different cultures, immersing yourself in those cultures. So it's a really good placement. Well, wherever we've got Jupiter in our charts is a good placement for it to be, because it's a great benefic. But Jupiter feels at home in the 9th house. So your blessings come from the area of education, long distance travel. You're so protected when you travel, you don't even imagine. And it's always an enriching experience. And an eye-opening experience, I'd say, as well. Now, if you got Jupiter in the 10th house, bingo, you've hit the jackpot. Bosses like you, and figures in authority usually think highly of you, and you are protected by them. You probably also had a really good relationship with your mother, because the 10th house is also associated with the mother. So you draw your faith from that, and it's been an enriching experience for you. Last but not least, you can choose a very Jupiterian career, which can be in academia, it can be in politics, it can be in religion, it can be in storytelling, it can be in traveling. So the 10th house is the house of career. That's why the link between career and Jupiter is very strong. And you're going to enjoy what you do, and you're going to find meaning in the career that you choose, which is not something that is very common for most people these days, unfortunately. Now, with Jupiter in the 11th house, Jesus, this is like the social life placement of all times. So you're going to attract an abundance of friends in this lifetime. You're going to have a full social life. You're going to feel empowered and optimistic about how your ideals fit in with the ideals of humanity. You're very likely going to identify yourself with a higher cause. And this is the placement of people who have friends in high places, who can facilitate things for them and who can bring opportunity into their lives. Last but not least, if you've got Jupiter in the 12th house, this is a very private house, so you might keep to yourself the things that you believe in, your religion, your spirituality. Maybe you think that society frowns upon them. Maybe you think society doesn't appreciate the things that you believe in, but it kind of gives you like a hidden strength, and it's like the hidden pillar that keeps you going. Jupiter in the 12th house is also the placement of the guardian angel. So whenever you find yourself in crises, whenever you find yourself in like dire straits, in a pickle, there's like the cavalry from up above coming in to save you. So yes, you will go through your fair share of crisis in this lifetime, but the universe has your back. It is very possible that in previous lives you've done well, you've earned your good karma, and that's why you're being saved in this lifetime. Obviously, there's going to be like a very pronounced interest in spiritual matters and in what goes on in the dream world and what goes on in life after death with this placement as well. And it's something that makes you quite optimistic about your life in general, thinking about these things. So let me know where your Jupiter is placed, people, and how you feel it act out in your life. And if you've got any other questions, please leave them in the not in the description box, in the comments box down below. Don't forget, I also offer personalized natal chart readings. I also do transits and forecasts, so personalized horoscopes for the year, and a multitude of other astrological readings, such as love and relationships and career readings. So if you want to find out more about yourself, about your potential, and about the things that you should be using in order to make your life better, don't hesitate to get in touch with me, because I've left a link in the description box down below to the form on my website. So guys, I'm hoping you've enjoyed this video. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe, because why not? I mean, you're watching this video. I'm hoping it's been interesting, engaging, and I shall see you next time. Bye.